Hey, come on over. Mom's not home till 6, and we're exploring the TV shows, movies, and pop culture media that made us all turn down the volume so our parents wouldn't hear. We're going to build our intimacy literacy and dig into all the weird messages we took from pop culture about sex, relationships, and ourselves. Because, let's be honest, this was all the sex ed we got. Today, we're discussing Clueless. And I'm excited to discuss this with my bestie, Veronica Dress, sexuality educator, coach, and intimacy director for stage and screen. Veronica.
Hi. I am so excited to be here. And I am also joined by my bestie who we, similar to the stars of this show, became besties because we know what it's like to have people be jealous of us. Of course, I'm talking about Blair Somerville. I always want to say noted fashion photographer, which is from America's Next Top Model. That's how they always introduce Nigel Barker. Blair Somerville, noted therapist specializing in relationships and queer identities and sexuality and all of the cool stuff. I'm excited about this one, Blair. I say that every time, but I don't think I had seen this, or maybe in a very long time.
Wait, so this is a first, right? Because I had seen this. I saw it for the first time as an adult, but I had seen it before this, and you maybe hadn't seen it before we did it for this.
The turns have tabled. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. So I'll get to see what it's like on the other side.
Yeah, I think so. I'm excited about it. It was cute and problematic, but you know.
So wild.
Whew, what isn't from the year 1995? What were you doing
true.
when this film came out, Blair?
Wow. So it's 1995. I am 3 years old. So I'm probably eating Doritos, running around. Playing in the dirt. I don't know.
Your go-to snack at age 3 were Doritos.
Yes. My mom has a story she loves about me where I was very young and I discovered, I generalized. I learned about triangles and then I was eating Doritos and I was like, this is a triangle.
Which is true.
And she was like, my baby's a genius.
Brilliant. Yes. Yeah. She wasn't wrong. I was 5 in 95 and I was also probably consuming something orange. I went through a big orange soda phase around that age, and almost every picture from the year 1995, I have a ring of orange soda around my mouth.
That's good.
So
that's good.
We'll post that in the Instagram feed for our followers who are just dying to imagine who we were at that age. Which is to say, I didn't watch this until much later. I think I was out of college when I saw this for the first time, but I've seen it maybe once, and I'll be honest with you, I was on a date, and so I wasn't paying attention. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. You were Netflix and chilling with Clueless.
It was like an outdoor movie in East Nashville. It was like a little screening.
I see.
And I was not
little movie
watching.
In the park sort of deal.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I think I watched it in college. And I think I watched it because I was a big fan of the TV show Psych. And the lead actress in this is also in Psych, and they kind of make some jokes about it in Psych. And I decided I wanted to see Clueless. I need to be in on the joke. Is what I need to be.
Absolutely. I think a lot of my pop culture journey has been following the rabbit hole of a reference from another thing, you know? Mm-hmm. So if you, listener, also are like, I think I saw it, but it's been a long time, let me just whet your whistle with a little bit of information. It is, after all, our classic season. So let's take a brief minute for you, our listener, to take a quick guess in your mind of what classic this is based on. I'll wait. You're right. It was Emma. This is based on Jane Austen's 1815 novel, Emma. And the film follows a beautiful, popular, wealthy high school student who wants to do good deeds. She befriends a newcomer played by our sweet, sweet Brittany Murphy. and gives her a makeover while playing matchmaker for her teachers, examining her own life. And the slightly deeper dive of the plot. So we have Cher Horowitz, which is who's played by Alicia. Is it Alicia Silverstone?
I do not know.
Alicia. Oh, that's going to kill me. Cher is stylish, popular. She's living in Beverly Hills in a mansion with her wealthy dad, who's a lawyer. Her mom died during a liposuction procedure when Cher was a baby, and so she never knew her mom and very much is a parentified child. And her brother-ish is Paul Rudd, named Josh in this movie. He is brother-ish because he was once her stepbrother, but the parents have since gotten divorced. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he was her stepbrother when they were already like maybe in middle school. So they only had like a brief time that they were like siblings. But
unclear.
As Dad says, you divorce wives, not children. So as far as he's concerned, Josh is still one of his children, which we'll see gets complicated. Mm-hmm. Cher has a bestie named Dion, and she believes that Dion should be dating more mature men. And so we see this kind of as a through line throughout all of Cher's matchmaking, is that the people she thinks are good enough for her to match people up with, she's continually talking about whether or not they are boys or like she wants someone who's like from another time, college student kind of energy. Yeah, I think that the impetus for this entire movie is that Cher gets poor grades on her report card. And she takes to renegotiating those grades with her teachers, but can't seem to budge Mr. Hall. And so she decides that she should matchmake him with the guidance counselor, Miss Geist, in order to put him in a good mood and therefore make him easier to negotiate her C up to hopefully an A minus. So it works. She's a successful negotiator, and this gives her a taste for the joy of matchmaking and really exercising control over other people's lives. And cut to Brittany Murphy transferring mid-school year. Her name is Ty, and she's very, we're made to think she's very rough around the edges. She's from Brooklyn. She's got an accent. She kind of dresses in a more grungy Nirvana aesthetic. And Cher turns to Dion and is like, perfect. Let's make her one of us. Let's make her popular.
Our new project.
Let's make her our new project. And there are some bumps in the road, which we'll get into. But ultimately, it's almost too successful for Cher's liking because Ty ends up getting, in some ways, more popular than Cher at different moments and is finding herself interested in or attracted to boys that are kind of entangled with Cher. Either it's Elton, who actually has a crush on Cher, or it is Josh. And Cher does not realize she has a crush on Josh until she gets upset seeing how Ty is after him. There's a middle area where this transfers, or this kid who like splits his time between this school and one in Chicago. His name is Christian. He looks like a young Marlon Brando and talks like he's from the Rat Pack. And she is immediately taken with him because he is like a real adult. And it is very clearly a friendship from his perspective. And she's trying to seduce him. He is admiring the male actors in the film. And very quickly, she realizes how clueless she has been in not recognizing that perhaps he is not attracted to women, which we can talk about how they handle that conversation. Eventually, she realizes her feelings for Josh. They realize their feelings for one another and have a big kiss moment on top of the stairs landing in their gorgeous home. And then she says, well, you can guess what happened next. And then it cuts to a wedding. And she says, just kidding. This is Beverly Hills, not Kentucky. But we're meant to think that they have sex because a big subplot in this whole film is that Cher is a virgin, is the language that they use. And so there we are. It seems like they're supposed to be happily ever after. And I'm curious what your prognosis is of that reality, Blair.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It made me feel weird. They throughout the movie, they act, I don't know how long they were together growing up, but they act like siblings enough that it feels very weird for them to suddenly be like, we're in love. And we're not going to talk about that we're kind of siblings.
I know. This
and
seems
also,
to be maybe that's the unofficial theme of this season between Wuthering Heights and this. And why are all the classics about maybe siblings getting together? Yeah, I don't like that.
Not technically not incest, but it is.
Just barely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also don't know where the hell the dad went, because he was fairly present for a lot of Cher's stuff, as a character, until the love confession, which, as you said, he's pretty clear he considers Josh his son still.
Yes.
I don't know how he's going to feel about that.
Especially because we see, in contrast to, say, the 10 Things I Hate About You father-child dynamic, this one, she's very much a parentified child in that she's always like, Daddy, you can't, you have to have your vitamin
eat your
C.
vegetables, Daddy.
Yeah, she's very much caretaking her father. And still, though, it seems that they go to one another. They have a weird standard for being proud of one another. When he finds out that she negotiated her grades from a C to an A-, he is more proud than if she'd earned the grades originally. They're quirky. They're a little funky. He's a lawyer, so he's proud of her as a future litigator. And he is less... we see a lot less entitlement and ownership over her body than we see in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
And we do see her go to him for advice. They confide in each other, and he is really loving to her. But when she goes to him about advice around Josh, she very notably does not mention that it is Josh. And I think probably because she knows that is complicated.
Weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say weird.
Go on. Say weird, Blair.
I'm going to say it's weird. And it made me uncomfortable. Also, can I just say, so the wedding at the end is these two teachers. Ain't no way these two teachers, which at a presumably public school, can afford the wedding they showed us, and also invited only a weird selective handful of their high school students, and they don't know Paul Rudd. So what? Gave her a +1?
Gave her a +1. Well, you know what? Here's my suspicion, is that she just planned the wedding for them.
Maybe she did.
Maybe she's hosting it at her house.
Now that's possible.
Cher is very, she's in the mix. She wants to have a hand in everybody's life, is very much her brand. And, in addition to all of the designer brands. But we see a lot of her, and it's not that she's a dumb blonde in any way. She's very, very intelligent, and she has this wild vocabulary, and it's very fun. But it does, we see her struggle with her worldview and her values throughout the whole thing in a way that I think is interesting to watch.
Yeah, she's never portrayed as stupid, but she is portrayed as ignorant in a way that sometimes, I don't know. And this comes up for me a lot when we watch comedies. I sometimes wasn't sure if we're laughing at teenage girls or with teenage girls for how silly and weird high school can be sometimes, and how big things can feel even when they're not that big. But it often felt to me kind of condescending, and aren't teenage girls so stupid and vapid? And that I didn't like that a lot.
Yeah. It feels like we, or at least the people in her life, are supposed to underestimate her at every turn, and she continues to surprise them, I think, is the very much it feels like she walked so that Elle Woods and Legally Blonde could run. You know, like there's almost
Yeah.
an exact scene replica that happens in Legally Blonde from this movie that I didn't realize.
Wow.
Yeah. And it begins well, let's just start by talking about the archetype of Cher Horowitz.
Okay.
We see her from the jump. We get this little montage of her being a typical high school girl in Beverly Hills in this crazy ass mansion.
Yeah.
She's getting ready for school. She's wearing the tiniest little PJ set with see-through shorts. You can see her little white underwear underneath it. And she goes to her computer and on her old school Windows 95,
CRT
which was
touchscreen, incredible.
is going through her closet, but it's still like that very pixelated 90s computer screen.
Yeah.
It feels like you're playing like Barbie's dream house, but it's all her own clothes, and she's mixing and matching clothing to find her outfit for the school day. Like she lives in a Barbie dream house existence. And even the way that she walks is very like, I'm just a little girl. What? She like bop, 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 floats around throughout the whole thing. And we don't really get to see, to your point, is she doing this as an act? Is this who she naturally is? Is this something she has learned to do so that she can be...
Yeah.
So as a tactic, I mean, I think she's like incredibly brilliant. We see that throughout the movie. But I wonder how much of this is it adaptation versus her personality.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see more of that. I'm willing to bet there's a lot more to that end in the novel about like how much is she sort of putting this on to like protect herself in some way, because there's also a lot of implication that she is like pushing herself away from a lot of the vulnerability of being a teenager and like being interested and rejected and wanting romance and not being sure how to get it. And she keeps that all at arm's length by just sort of saying, I just need someone who's more mature. I'm just simply not interested, which it seems like is sort of true, but not always true. Like that's where the question mark is for me is some of that an act to help her keep things at sort of arm's length?
She says at one point, she's like, I'm so particular about my shoes and those only go on my feet. I do think she's an interesting character in that way because she is the archetype of like the skinny, blonde, white, incredibly wealthy, stylish, popular girl. And we don't see people really fawn over her in the way that you might see a Regina George in Mean Girls, right? Where people just like the seas part for them. What we see is like she gets bumped into and she freaks out about it and is very maybe the word people would use would be like high maintenance about it and is upset her outfit got ruined. But it is somehow endearing. There's something about her that's really endearing that I think is maybe because it is not that she is popular and mean to people, maybe not knowingly. It is that she is popular and has a lot of control issues and just wants everything to be just right. And perhaps it's because for her, aside from losing her mom so young, everything has been just right. And there's like a drive that she has and a strong-willed thing that she has that's very much, you know, like in the world of Elizabeth Bennet, like she knows what she wants and she's going to make it happen. But that ends up meaning for her that she's kind of lonely or like is making things happen for everyone around her. But when it comes to herself, there's a panic. Like when she has over Christian for a movie night and she thinks maybe she's going to have sex for the first time before she realizes that maybe he loves all of the movies because of the hot Hollywood men in them. She has a little baby panic attack.
Yeah, she does. She sort of freaks out and she's like, before she, I guess, really considers that he's gay, she's like, maybe there's something wrong with me. And she does feel very anxious about it because things didn't go the way she planned. And that whole evening doesn't go the way she planned from the beginning, because she starts out like, you're supposed to always be cooking something. And she just throws the whole cookie dough preformed log.
Yeah, she doesn't split it up.
It burns to hell. As soon as he's coming in the door, there's smoke everywhere. So that whole thing is maybe one of the first times. I guess that's not true. It's an escalation of things starting to not go to her plan. And that starts with Elton, where she has this plan that, Ty and Elton are going to be together. That's my vision for Ty. I'm transforming her from this kind of rough around the edges Brooklyn girl to the same exact type of California girl that I am. And I'm going to put
this is her gift. Her gift to her is to make her
gift to you
popular.
I'll save you. And Elton is not into it because he's into Cher. Right. Not into Ty.
And Cher is missing this completely.
She misses it completely. Well, because it's not her plan. And why wouldn't things go according to her plan? So she finds this out in a rough way because she's in his car with him and he starts trying macking on her. And she keeps telling him no and he's not listening. And she eventually gets out of the car and he dishes her in a parking lot and she gets robbed at gunpoint. So there's that. Rude awakening for her, I think.
Yes, I know. And I hate that because a joke throughout is her weariness about going to neighborhoods that aren't Beverly Hills, right? To going to neighborhoods that are like where normal people might live. And of course, she's like at this corner store that's closed in the parking lot, having just been deserted by Elton, who's being a dick. And that's when she gets robbed at gunpoint. And I'm like, stop living into these stereotypes.
I know. That was uncomfortable.
I know.
Well, side note, I just need to say, I felt like that Ty's Brooklyn accent became contagious by the end of the movie.
Really? Who else is speaking in it?
I felt like I started to notice Cher, like a lot of them lost a little bit of their really rigid early on Valley Girl accent and were drifting a little.
That's really funny.
Maybe I was imagining it by the end, but
that's really funny.
I thought I noticed some drift.
Some accent drift. We'll have to listen in.
Just a little drift, yeah.
It is interesting to see all of the different relationships that we are seeing as different examples throughout, right? Or even like relationship to self. Because Brittany Murphy as Ty does not show up asking to be changed. She's asking, where are the people who smoke? Who's going to smoke me up? And she would have done just as well connecting with that sweet skater boy who smokes a lot of weed. Like, she would have had a happy little social life, but Cher knows best and wouldn't really let that happen. And it feels like the arc for Ty is herself authentically, gets made over, is a little bit lonely because this isn't really authentically her, and then somehow finds her way back to her, like, some middle ground where she is still aesthetically made over, but is asking for what she wants and a little bit more confident.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that I was a little disappointed, I think, by the various romantic subplots in this movie was that they never really discussed that, like, I don't know, the way the person treats you or interacts with you is important. Like, we have Cher and Josh, where she eventually realizes she has feelings for him and he has feelings for her. And they have this little flashback of, like, some playful little interactions between them. But they don't really talk about, like, oh, yeah, and he's respectful or he's nice to me. I feel good about myself when I'm with him or anything like that. And we have Ty, who they want her to be with Elton because
he
Cher
has the
wants
social
that.
status.
Yeah, and then he's a huge dick. And then we have the cute, what's his name, Travis, the skater kid?
Yes, I think so.
He is so genuinely sweet to her. He's interested in her art.
He's a cutie patootie.
He's adorable. And they never, like, she eventually shows some interest back in him. Like, they're sort of goobers in the same way. But again, it's more like, well, they match. They're similar types of people, so they match and they have an attraction. Not like, yeah, isn't he so nice to her? And they have shared interests.
Right. It's kind of the whole matchmaking setup is very much set in alignment with what Elton actually says to Cher before he tries to mac on her, aka sexually harass her.
Yeah.
That he's like, do you know who my dad is? Which is so cringy. And she's like, what? And he's like, Ty and I don't make sense together. Because for him, he's like, I'm hot and I'm wealthy. She's not that. But Cher, you and I, we make sense together. And I think that intrinsically is the approach to matchmaking she's doing throughout the whole thing. Yeah. It's like, who makes sense? You're both kind of grungy and skatery, but I don't want that to be who she is. And so I refuse. It feels like at every turn she's trying to keep Ty from following the dynamic that she's actually most interested in. Because she connects with Travis in the lunch line the first day she's there. Yeah, and it's like, I met this really cool guy. They're like, oh no, you can't hang out with him.
Yeah, super shitty because he was so sweet. And okay, so can we talk a little about another big couple we see, Dion and what is her boyfriend's name? I forget his name. I know he's in Scrubs.
I know. I only know him as
Turk, right?
Turk from Scrubs. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Let's look it up. What's his name?
What was his name? Was it
cast?
I want to say Warwick, but I don't know if that's right.
The cast. We have Murray. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dion and Murray. Their relationship is, I don't know. I sometimes felt sort of weird about how they were characterized, and it got uncomfy, especially in the vein of like, well, we're just kind of putting people together because they match, and then we have a black couple.
Right. And from the beginning, we see there's even a line she said, like, it's the first time they're walking into school and she's like narrating about like who everybody is. And she talks about Dion and how Dion is with this guy, Murray, and Murray is really, he's a high school boy. So she discourages her from being with him because she thinks that they're kind of children, which like he does act childish. But once again, they're high schoolers. Yeah. And really, he's just playful. But the first bit of dialogue we see between those two, only black characters in the whole movie, is she makes a reference to them bickering with each other. And it might be because they saw too much of the Ike and Tina Turner movie.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That was awful.
And he keeps calling her woman, and she hates it. And they really are like bickering the whole time. And she like literally pulls up some woman's braid and is like, who are you cheating on me with? I found this hair in your car. It's very racially problematic in a big old way. I do enjoy about them later on is the car on the freeway scene where she is driving. The three of them are in the car, Cher, Murray, and Dion. Dion is driving and she's very anxious as a driver, and Murray is helping. And they accidentally end up on the freeway and everybody's screaming and screaming. And it got to a point where I'm like, what is the purpose of this scene? I do not understand. Why? It makes no sense. But eventually they get off the highway and Dion is visibly shaken, and Murray is so good. He is so good with her. He's so proud of her. Yeah. He's like helping her regulate. He's helping her breathe. They're so sweet together. And that's a moment where Cher sees like, oh, like that's it. Like that's the point of the whole thing. And even later on, we see Dion and Murray, I forget what they're talking about, but he is talking about misogyny and the patriarchy. Like everyone surprises us with these little moments of brilliance throughout. And I'm not saying surprises us because they're the two black characters, but I think the way that Cher sets them up is almost to make people surprised by that, which is upsetting.
All of them act so childish throughout because they're children. 16.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and it's surprising when they have this like level of insight and awareness as young teenagers.
Which is like, yet again, our society just wants to adultify children when they are so young, really objectify sexually children when they are so young. Yeah. And at the same time, just take away their brilliance and humanity and be like, oh, but you're just a child, so you're stupid. Children are brilliant. Young people are brilliant.
Well, so what do you think then? Josh is in college. We don't know how far into college he is.
He's a freshman.
He's a freshman, so he's what, 18 or 19?
So a 2-year age
difference.
2-year age difference, yeah.
Yeah, she's 16, which for some reason they choose to hammer home again at the wedding. She's like, I'm only 16. And also, I don't know why, when you literally have just put together 2 siblings, that you would then invoke, what is this, Kentucky? What? Yeah, this is sort of incest.
Yes. And, like, justice for Kentucky also.
Justice for Kentucky.
Is how
they
I
don't
feel.
Have a monopoly on this.
Right. And, like, people are in complicated relationship situations across the world. And I don't like the Appalachian incest stereotype. I think it is unfair.
No. Bring back the Habsburgs. Let's blame them. I call them Habsburgs. How about that? Because if you want to talk about incest.
I know nothing about the Habsburgs except for as a reference in Spring Awakening. So
extreme, that family tree, a circle for the royalty, like bloodline or what. It was bad. Veronica, it's bad.
Gross.
It's bad.
Yeah. That's, ooh.
European royalty.
Sure. Right. It's fine when royalty do it, but in Kentucky. Which, like, to be clear, we are anti-incest on this show. We are not pro-incest. And
Veronica coming out pro-incest.
I'm getting
Let
canceled.
them do what they want to do.
I know, by our 3 fans. They're going to be mad.
We're not going
to live through this.
We're losing our 3 fans, and they're all in Kentucky, Veronica.
I've had a grand old time in Kentucky. Yeah, I always like... I read a thing recently about how in a recent survey, Gen Z is reportedly really anti-age difference in relationships, even when it is subtle, which I think is interesting. I think it's the first generation that has more or less come up with language around consent and power dynamics.
Yeah.
And because conversation about age differences has been hammered home so much, even if it's like a 2-year age difference in adulthood, there's still an anxiety about that power differential for Gen Z. And, a generation is not a monolith. But I think there is quite a difference of power and agency and life experience between these two. Setting aside the fact that they were step siblings for a minute.
Yeah. For who knows how long, okay? Because for all we know, it was 6 freaking years. I don't know.
Let's see if the internet
or was
knows.
it 6 months? I mean, it could be anything. If it's 6 months, it's a little less weird. But like I said, the ways they interact with each other in the lead up are very casual sibling, normal stuff. It doesn't feel like a little stiff, like, I don't know.
It was only a year.
Only a year? I don't know. It's still weird to me.
When they were already young teenagers.
Okay, and also, Paul Rudd, I don't like this. She's in the kitchen eating something. He comes up.
There's so much fat phobia in this damn thing.
You're really filling out there.
I know. So much fat phobia rampant in this film, which is... we are in an era right now with GLP-1s and the like heroin chic coming back into fashion, quote unquote, that it really is. It's not just 90s fashion. It's 90s sensibilities around thinness and fat phobia that is really stark. And so while hearing those sentences out loud in movies like this is just very jarring, thankfully, it's jarring now. But the sentiment underneath, I think, remains present in society today in a major way, whether or not it's politely said.
Oh, yeah. I think there's a lot that really hasn't changed at all. Like the number of times Cher or one of her friends would allude to like, "Ugh, I feel so sick." Or one time Cher says, "I feel like such a heifer because I had like 6 M&Ms and like a handful of other snacks that she names."
Yeah. And they talk about going to the mall when Ty realizes that she's not going to be with Elton. And they say, like, let's go to skip 7th and 8th period. Let's go to the mall and have a calorie fest. Yeah. I think is what they say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the first things she does in the makeover is try and have her on a regimen of different at-home workout VHSs.
Yep.
It would feel remiss to not name, like, more broadly, Brittany Murphy's journey as a human and performer in this context, right? That, like, she died from complications related to anorexia. As in IRL, she died at 32. And, like, it was pneumonia and there was some drug use, but I think, like, very much it is understood that her eating disorder played a huge role in her illness.
The toll it takes
on her body, right? And so it is just infuriating to watch this narrative play out on screen, knowing like the road that one goes down. And I mean, poor Brittany Murphy in every fucking movie is made to be like the butt of fat jokes as like a regular looking human, right? And like what even is a regular human, right? That's a whole other thing. But
yeah,
it's a thing. But yeah, I don't understand. I think that when it comes to Josh and Cher, there is an ease of relating to each other. There is an ability to trust him to show up for her when she needs him to. And we see him stand up for her even when she's not in the room. Like when the dad's law partner is calling her a moron because she organized some papers into the wrong place.
Because she's 16 doing an adult's job.
Right. This guy has the audacity to yell at them for like ruining his case that's so important. I'm like, then why are you asking for non-lawyers who are 16 and 18 years old to carry the weight of this case on their shoulders? This is unethical, A. And B, like, who the fuck are you? Now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ugh, I don't care for it. But so we do see elements of like really lovely things in their relationship. And it is never named that like this is what draws her to him.
Yeah. Right.
And we never see that like she's in love with, like when she has her aha moment that like, oh my God, I'm in love with Josh. The flashbacks that we get are not moments that when they happened, anyone was like, oh, there's something there. Yeah, like, I don't think that they laid that groundwork well. I know that I knew what they were doing because it was very clear that that's where they were wanting us to be led as an audience.
Because they cast Paul Rudd in this role.
I know. I think it was his first role ever.
Oh, wow.
I know. Baby Paul Rudd.
Good for him. But yeah, you can tell, but some part kind of because of the casting, because of the tropes, what they're going to do. But yeah, there was
not through the acting and interaction between the characters.
No. The love confession feels kind of out of nowhere and sort of forced because they didn't really lay any of this groundwork. But it was like, well, end of the movie's coming up. We got to wrap it up.
Well, and I think like the annoyance that we see playing between them makes sense for them as siblings, but it does not go so far that it makes the audience or the viewer be like, oh, there's something more here.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that we needed that in order for any of us to like in an emotional way be like, ooh, there's something happening between them. I hope they realize it. Like, I don't really know that we get that.
No, I didn't feel it.
I didn't feel it. No. Sure didn't.
You want to talk a little about queer themes in this movie?
Well, I love from the jump. The first interaction Ty has with Dion and Cher, she straight up says, "You're the first straight friends I've ever had."
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, okay.
I even sure if their reaction was like, that's shocking, or if their reaction was like, I don't know what that means.
They seemed completely
so removed.
Clueless. They seemed clueless. And it's also interesting because Ty is straight in this. Like, it's not as though like Ty is, I mean, we don't know Ty's sexuality, but
bisexual.
Only shows interest in dudes in this movie. Yeah. So that's, I mean, from the jump shows up. But otherwise, we see this.
We've got
will
Christian.
they, won't they with Christian.
And then we've got also I got anxiety when they started talking about their next project because they had made some comments about the gym teacher and her being a lesbian. And I started to get anxiety because immediately after they were like, I need another project. They were at tennis class with her. And I was worried they were going to get fixated on her and try and do something with her.
Try and matchmake with the lesbian gym teacher.
Yeah, or like try to make her straight or something. It was scary. I'm glad they didn't do that. I was scared. I hurt my tummy.
No, it didn't happen. You're safe. It didn't happen.
Oh, God, thank God.
Yeah. No, it was just a setup for the entrance of Brittany Murphy.
Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way that they handle Christian is interesting to me as well. I'm curious what your take on the Christian queerness storytelling.
I thought I was really surprised because, like we said, this is a movie with some uncomfortable racialized things, even when they're trying to be positive, apparently. Like Dion is Cher's best friend. This is a movie where we get a couple of casual R slurs. Just throw them right out there,
Sure do.
We get the casual, and obviously the gym teacher's a lesbian. So I was sort of surprised the subtlety and like privacy they afforded Christian because, like you said, they show him talking more animatedly and more engaged with other male actors. They do a few things like where he's really into art, and anytime Cher is like, oh, well, do you want to, I'm trying to like,
yes, they're looking at all the sculptures in the backyard, right? They're looking at all the sculptures, and she's like, do you want to get in the pool? He's like,
no.
Let's go watch a movie.
Yeah, let's watch the movie with the hot male actor I love. And she's trying to like play footsie with him, and he's like, oh, your feet are cold, and he like slams a pillow on her feet. It's clear she's putting the moves on him, and he's like, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna just head out.
Right. It makes me wonder if he knew the misunderstanding was happening.
I don't know, but I kind of liked that they never had, like, she never confronts him. He never comes out. He doesn't say anything. Nobody says anything about it. She just seems to have this realization. She chit-chats with, I think Dion's boyfriend was like,
Murray is like, oh, you girls don't get it. Yeah.
He's gay.
And oh my God, I loved the way he described it too. He was like, he's an Oscar Wilde reading friend of Dorothy's.
Yeah, I was like, where'd you learn those words?
I know.
Where'd you learn that?
It was the most avant-garde, lovely way to describe it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
And then they were just sort of like, oh, okay, and moved on. And Cher was like, well, yeah, he's a great friend then, and no big deal. I don't need to.
We like shopping together, which is, trope. But in Cher's case, she loves shopping. It's her main love language.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a little tropey, but again, I was really impressed that they didn't have a sort of confrontation coming out. They never
You're gay? Yeah, there was none of that.
Setting him up with anybody. And his main thing also continued to be like being into art and like sculpture in particular.
And fashion.
So, yeah, and fashion. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, he was interesting in that he followed the expectations and rituals that on the surface could be dating, right? He picks her up. He tells her how beautiful she looks because she does. And they go to this dance and they dance together. But we also see him turn around and dance, not overtly sexually, but like engaged dancing with men around her. And nothing bad happens, right? We see him go up to get drinks and he's very like engaged with the bartender.
Yeah.
Not
he like throws another girl off of him. Who
a girl puts her hands on his shoulder and he's just like, Zhunk, no thank you. But you could, Cher could read that as like, aw, he likes me. He's not
And she
interested
did
in anyone
at
else.
the time.
Yeah. And we don't see him like his body language toward the bartender is open, but it is ambiguous enough. Like, it doesn't read as like, I am flirting, definitely, with this person. But at the end of the night, there's no one left at this party dancing except for him. And he's just by himself dancing on the dance floor.
Having a grand old time.
Having a grand old time. I think he's just kind of like a weird little party
Doing
guy.
his own thing.
He just likes what he likes.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. And I enjoy that they don't have a big altercation, confrontation happen. That it's, okay, my expectations of this dynamic are shifting.
And again, especially for 1995 and a movie with, like we said, so many other problematic elements, they didn't grab onto what could easily have been turning him into the butt of a joke.
Right. Yeah, and in fact, he and Cher at the mall shopping and see Ty flirting with these guys from Foot Locker or something who start to dangle her over a railing from the second floor.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Christian runs and saves the day. He saves her. He like gets in there, pulls her back. He pushes the guy. Like, it's a very, very chivalrous sort of moment. His whole thing is like, chivalry isn't dead. I'm a stylish old Hollywood guy, which
yes, and they didn't make
great
him.
Vibe.
I liked too that they didn't make him particularly effeminate either before or after Cher's realization that he's gay.
Right. Yeah. It was he remained himself, and I think that they navigated that for the time as well as can be. Yeah,
it's a low bar, but they cleared it.
An incredibly low bar, but they did something. I'm wondering if I know you were eating Doritos at the time. If you had seen this, maybe like, I don't know, instead of us seeing it when we're in college, I wonder if we had seen this in high school when mom wasn't home after school. What are the things that maybe would have like got implanted in our sweet little psyches about what to expect from high school and what to accept from crushes?
Every single one of these fucking movies and TV shows where they have a high school set in California.
Stunning.
I don't know what is going on with these campuses. It is absolutely not my high school campus. No. So I would have had I already did, but I would have had an even more completely warped idea of what a high school campus looks like, what lunch is like, what the structure of school is like.
Oh yeah.
The possibility of just dipping. How easy
no one does a lick of homework the whole time.
Nobody does any homework the whole time. They're not stressed. And I don't know about you. We had the vice principal would get on a damn golf cart and chase kids around if they thought they were leaving and going to the mall across the street during school.
You had a mall across the street?
The golf cart. Yeah.
That's a good question. We didn't have a golf cart happening, but we did have nuns. So like just a nun slowly walking up and down the hallway is... It's
like Darth Vader. It's
chill you to the bone. They weren't in habits. I feel like that's important for your mental image. Okay. The Sisters of St. Joseph do not wear the habits, but they wear like a little pin. And they dress in lay clothing, meaning normal people clothing. It tended to be like a pencil skirt and a matching blazer. Like, you know.
Okay. Formal enough to be intimidating.
Formal enough. A lot of tweed.
So definitely some misconceptions about high school overall. I think I also would have internalized very much that there's a hierarchy in high school and you sort of stay in your zone.
Yes.
If somebody from a higher zone chooses to lift you up and save you,
they will raise you up. Yeah.
Then that's maybe an option, but you pretty much are stuck in your zone. And that's that.
Yes. It's like a high school caste system is what it seems like.
And you can only date and you must date someone who matches you within your caste system.
Right. You have to date someone who is your character exactly in their friend group.
Yeah.
Those are the rules. And it has to be a boy, apparently. Because Christian's the only queer person we see. We don't see any couples that are gay.
Correct. Yep.
So while I don't know that I wanted her to start matchmaking with him because it was 95 and I feel like they would have navigated that really problematically. It is kind of annoying to me that she, like, okay, I'm sorry, why don't you want to matchmake for Christian?
No. Miss, I can do anything. Why don't you think you can do this?
Mm-hmm. For our sake as the viewer, I'm glad we didn't have to watch them navigate that. But more broadly, from a morality and ethics standpoint, I'm like,
Yeah.
Noted.
Interesting.
Noted. Yeah, it feels very, and my high school had, I mean, you had friend groups and you had like people who were interested in similar things, but it wasn't that archetypal and rigid that like never shall people cross over to talk to someone else from a different group. There was a lot of overlap.
Yeah. To me, in my experience in high school, there was like loose sort of organization around like if you were on a sports team, you're closer with other people on the sports team. You know, if you took a lot of the AP classes, you saw a lot of the same kids, stuff like that. The only real firm, hard and fast, like, oh, you're a whatever kid was band and JROTC.
Yeah. Both have costumes.
The costumes. If you had a thing where you did a costume, you were your own thing.
Yeah. Even with the theater kids, I feel like we had our own. Like, after school, was there the gathering of the theater kids? Yes. But I don't think in my high school we had a social group that was the theater kids. I think every friend group, maybe not as much the jocks, but like every friend group had a smattering of someone who did the plays. And then we all came together after school to get in the car and then go to the boys' school to do their musical. As you do.
As you do.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious what, from a relationship standpoint, I think there is something cool that we see with the most popular girl in school being judicious about having sex. I think we get to see a variety of ways people are engaging with sex as a thing. It's not the main talking point of the movie. It's not like the whole movie's not about Cher being a virgin. But we do see that, like, okay, Dion's in this relationship and has been for a while and is, quote unquote, technically a virgin.
Technically. But my man is satisfied.
Right. So take that to mean what? They're having oral sex and hand
I would
jobs,
assume
probably.
So. Yeah.
Some fingering. Which high school Veronica would have had questions about that. I would have been like, what does that mean?
What does that mean? What are they doing?
I know. I'd be so confused. My terrible sex ed. Yep. And then we have Brittany Murphy, who is supposed to be kind of like socially precarious, but she's had a bunch of sex, right? That like the power differential and the status symbols kind of shift on their head in that trio when it comes to sex. Yeah. Right. Which is interesting. I think the place in which it goes sideways for me would have been watching then she kisses Paul Rudd and then they fuck.
Yeah.
Immediately. You can guess what happened next. It's just that
after she was so like, I don't know. I want it to be significant for me in some way. Like, I want to be judicious about the person that I'm with. And also it seemed like to her the sort of setting and like the evening of it all was important to her.
Yeah, she has the personality of a event planner. Yeah. She's got an attention to detail, in a major way.
Yeah, so I agree. That felt very weird. I did appreciate that there was no the way they were very casual in a way about sex and virginity. They were just sort of like, oh, that's interesting. Moving on.
Like, it was one of many topics. It was one of many topics, which I thought was, in a weird way, refreshing compared to some of the other stuff we've seen, right? Yeah. Where, like, the whole entire fucking movie is about virginity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised that it was relatively chill. Like, oh, interesting. You've had sex? Well, I haven't yet. And nobody was like, well, I'm doing it the right way and you're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the closest we got to that was Ty being like, Cher, you're a virgin. Like we were not even just teetering on judgment. There was judgment. But then when Cher kind of stands her ground and is like, yeah, I'm very particular and I want it to be with someone that I want it to be with. She's respectful of that. And it's like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Precious.
Fresh.
Ah, so fresh. What is your healthy ever after? Healthier ever after?
They fucking break up. Break them up. I'm not always going to be so firm, like just end it. I need them to break up. I don't like it. It's weird. They're they're too much of siblings for me. And I want them to break up and I want them to move on to their own relationships outside of the family.
Oh, yeah.
And continue to understand themselves better. They both seem to have maybe a weird thing with the dad, with both wanting to be lawyers and wanting his like approval in a way that I don't know how much.
They need to go out in the world.
Yeah.
Away.
Exactly.
He goes to school on the East Coast, right? Isn't that a thing? But like.
They sort of said so, but then he's like, I don't know. Yeah, they said so, but then his dorm or something was...
I can't speak to it.
I don't know. It was confusing. But yeah, they need to sort of become their own, differentiate, have more relationships outside of their family. That's what I want for them.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
What about you? What would you wish for them?
I co-sign that. I wish... I kind of want Brittany Murphy and the skater guy to get to like hang out and be friends and maybe smooch a little.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see where that goes. They had that cute thing where he was like, I'm working my 12 steps and I have this skater event. And they went to it and saw him and he like did a cool trick. And Brittany Murphy was like, he's so cool.
I know. And Cher's like, I didn't know he was so driven. And it's like, yeah, girl. Just because people don't
asshole.
live in your universe all the time and do things exactly like you would do them doesn't mean that they don't have passion or direction.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
Bless their heart. So yeah, I guess we see some event planning, perhaps in Cher's future.
I see event planning. I see maybe her moving away for college and exploring differing opinions and ways of being in the world. Love her clothes, though. I do co-sign all the clothing.
Yeah. Or, send her to fashion school in New York. Maybe that would be really good for her.
That could be good. Yes. And then maybe Ty shows her around the East Coast and she realizes that maybe she was wrong to try and morph Ty into somebody she isn't.
Yeah. Maybe she will realize she has been wrong.
What a concept.
If only. Well, okay. I think we did it.
I think we did it.
We talked about Clueless. It's about that time. We have next episode... mystery with our first guest. Get excited.
I'm very excited. Cool. So stay tuned, listener, and change the channel back to something appropriate before Mom gets home.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Mom's Not Home Till 6. Leave us a rating or review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you found us. Pitch us your alternate ending or send suggestions to momsnothometill6@gmail.com, spelled with no punctuation and the numeral 6. You can find more from us by following us on Instagram at momsnothometill6 or on Blue Sky at momsnothome. Find more from Veronica by following her on Instagram at The Dress Rehearsal or support the podcast financially on Patreon at The Dress Rehearsal. We'd like to extend our gratitude to the queer and trans communities, past and present, who've made it possible to be the people we are today, and to you for listening. Now be sure to change that TV channel back to something appropriate before Mom gets home, and we'll catch you next time.